From leasing a $1,000 a month luxury car that leaves you with nothing after 36 payments, to driving a reliable used Lexus and watching your $60,000 grow into $110,000, Warren Buffett would never make these 7 mistakes, and neither should you. Calling credit card points free money, it feels smart, clever. Even you're not just spending, you're earning cashback, airline miles, hotel stays, VIP lounge access. With every swipe, you get closer to your free vacation. But here's the ugly truth. Credit card rewards are not gifts, they are bait. And they're trap. Most people walk right into it. Credit card points are designed to manipulate behavior, not reward it. They don't exist to make you rich. They exist to make banks richer. Because when you start spending 4 points instead of value, you've already lost. Let's break it down. The average cashback reward is about 1 to 2%. That means you get $1 to $2 back for every $100 you spend. But what happens if you don't pay that $100 off in full? You're really likely hit with a 24% APR, and suddenly your $1 reward costs you $1.24 in interest over the year. You're trading dollars for dimes, literally. Credit card companies know humans crave instant gratification, so they gamify spending. Flashy apps, progress bars, bonus categories. It becomes less about needs and more about chasing that shiny little reward notification. A $20 dinner becomes a $50 splurge because, hey, 3x points on dining this month. And it works. A 2022 report from the Federal Reserve showed that 64% of rewards card users spent more per month than those using debit or cash. Not because they had to, but because they felt like they were getting a deal. Let's look at a real example. Rachel, a 29-year-old nurse from San Diego, loved her points. She used a premium travel card that offered 3x points on dining, 5x on travel, and a big annual bonus. But when she sat down with a financial advisor last year, the numbers hit hard. She'd earned $1,200 in travel perks over 12 months. Sounds great, right? Except she'd also paid $875 in interest, $550 in annual fees, and $130 in late fees spread across the year. And that's not even counting the $9,000 in rolling debt she now carries, debt she took on spending to earn more points. So what would Warren Buffett say? He said it before: if you buy things you don't need, soon you'll have to sell things you do. Buffett has never been a fan of credit. He pays with cash or debit, avoids personal debt like the plague, and never chases freebies dangled by corporate marketing departments. Buffett's actual reward system: ownership. He'd rather earn dividends than dining points. He knows that compound interest works best in your favor when you're not giving it away to lenders. So what do the wealthy do? They use credit strategically, if at all. They pay off balances in full every month. They treat rewards as incidental, not motivation. And most of all, they avoid the spending spiral. You will never see a millionaire saying, "I'm $10,000 in debt, but at least I got a free blender." Let's do the math. If you put $1,000 a month on a card chasing points and only pay the minimum, you'll spend years in debt. But if you invested that same $1,000 monthly in a low-cost S&P 500 index fund with historical returns of 8%, you'd have over $180,000 in 10 years. Points don't pay. Ownership does. Come and trap if this one hit a little too close to home. And speaking of promises that sound too polished, let's talk about the glittery high-yield savings accounts. Everyone's treating like investment vehicles, but they're quietly losing you money every single day. Chasing high-yield savings accounts like investments. You're not spending, you're saving. And not just saving smart. Saving, that's what the bank's banner says, right? 48% APR. Best rate in the market. It feels responsible, disciplined, even strategic. But here's the problem. Your money is still shrinking, just slower. High-yield savings accounts have become the new darling of cautious savers. They sound like an antidote to risk. No stock market swings, no sleepless nights, just steady growth. But here's what most people don't realize. They're losing money safely. Let's talk about inflation. The average annual inflation rate over the past century in the US has hovered around 3.2%. But in the last few years, we've seen numbers as high as 7 to 9%. So even if your high-yield account is offering 5% and inflation is at 6.5%, your real return is actually negative. You're not getting ahead. You're falling behind. Quietly, consistently. The illusion lies in the word yield. It makes people think of investing, of growing wealth. But a high-yield savings account isn't an investment. It's a storage locker with slightly better lighting. Yes, it's a fine place to park your emergency fund, but it is not where long-term wealth is built. Here's where the trap gets sneakier. Banks market these accounts as limited-time offers. Sign up now before the rate drops. They create urgency, push people to move large sums around, just to lock in a slightly better rate, often for only a few months. Let's take a real-world example. Devin, a 38-year-old engineer from Minneapolis, thought he was being smart. He transferred $100,000 from his brokerage account to a high-yield savings account offering 4.5%, lured by an aggressive ad promising secure returns. For a while he felt great, until he spoke with a friend who'd left his money invested in a broad index fund. In the same year, Devin made $4,500 in interest. His friend made $11,700 in market gains and dividends even with a turbulent market, whereas, after adjusting for inflation and taxes, Devin's safe return was worth about $2,800 in real value. Devin didn't lose money outright, but he lost opportunity, and that's where financial regret grows the fastest. So what would Buffett say? He's never been interested in stashing cash for the sake of it. Buffett believes cash has a purpose to stay liquid for emergencies or opportunities, not to sit idle pretending to grow. In fact, he's often said, cash is always a bad investment. You want to be invested in things that are producing something. His go-to move, buying businesses or shares of them, things that produce, not just preserve. While others are counting pennies in a savings account, Buffett's earning billions in dividends and compound growth because he places his money where it can work, not sleep. So what's the better move? Keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account for true emergencies. Everything else, put it to work. Low-cost ETFs, index funds, dividend-paying stocks, assets that beat inflation and build wealth over time. And yes, those involve risk, but so does standing still. Now let's compare. Let's say you have $50,000 in a high-yield account earning 5%. After taxes and 3% inflation, your net gain is around $700 per year. That same $50,000 invested in a broad market ETF averaging 8% annually. That's $4,000 a year. Compounding, after 20 years, the difference is staggering. High-yield account, $66,000 ETF investment, tilde $234,000. One is pretending to protect you, the other is building your future. And yet, people keep chasing the illusion of security. They lock up their money in shiny savings accounts, thinking they're being wise when in reality, they're just stuck in place, smiling while time and inflation chip away at their dreams. But if you think this slow bleed is bad, wait until you see how much people spend on so-called self-improvement events that promise transformation and deliver invoices. Spending big on self-improvement seminars. It starts with a spark, a quote on Instagram, a podcast episode that hits just right. You feel inspired, motivated, so you take the next step. A $297 webinar, then a $1,497 mastermind weekend. Before you know it, you're $5,000 deep, sitting in a ballroom with 1,000 other hopefuls, clapping for someone on stage who flew in on a rented jet. Welcome to the billion-dollar world of self-improvement seminars. They sell transformation. They promise clarity, confidence, financial success. And here is the catch. Many of them offer just enough hope to keep you coming back, but not enough strategy to change your life. The emotional hook is powerful. You're not buying a course, you're buying belief. You're paying to feel seen, to feel part of something bigger, to feel like you're finally doing the work. They dim the lights, pump up the music, and tell you you're just one breakthrough away. And that breakthrough, it's often another ups. Let's look at the data. The self-help industry is worth over $13 billion globally. In the US alone, people spend more on motivational events than on college textbooks. That's not a joke. And most of these events are unregulated, meaning anyone with a flashy Instagram and a good stage presence can sell you on a dream. Warren Buffett doesn't fall for dreams. He's said, the best investment you can make is in yourself. But he doesn't mean a $10,000 a weekend in a hotel ballroom. He means reading, thinking, building real skills, not paying strangers to hype you up for 48 hours and send you home with a PDF workbook and a coffee mug. Let's take a real example. Kevin, a 34-year-old real estate agent from Phoenix, attended a $5,000 Inner Wealth Summit. The pitch was irresistible. Mindset, mastery, networking with millionaires, and actionable tools to 100x your life. The result, 3 days of shouting affirmations, vague advice like lean into your power, and the constant push to join the $25,000 elite program. Kevin declined the upsell but left feeling disoriented and broke. He later admitted, "It felt like I was paying to be emotionally manipulated. I left pumped but nothing in my actual business changed." Contrast that with Buffett's method. He reads constantly, books, reports, letters, analysis. He's not looking for hype. He's looking for truth, the kind that compounds over decades, not just during a stage show. So what do the wealthy actually invest in? They invest in real education, books, mentorships, certifications, degrees. They build skills that translate into income. They might spend $50 on a book that shifts their thinking permanently, not $5,000 for a dopamine rush and a group hug. Let's do the numbers. If you spend $5,000 a year on seminars, and you do that for 10 years, you've dropped $50,000 chasing a feeling. If instead, you invested that same $5,000 annually into an S&P 500 index fund with 8% average returns, you'd have over $78,000 by year 10. And guess what? That money actually works for you. We're not saying all self-improvement is bad, but when the message is, you're broken, but for $2,497 we can fix you, you're not investing. You're being exploited. Subscribe if you've ever justified a $1,000 purchase by calling it an investment. And if you thought emotional spending was dangerous, wait until we dive into the luxury car lease that feels like success. but empties your wallet faster than a valet at a 5-star hotel. Leasing luxury cars to look successful. It's the sound, the surge of pride when you pull up to a dinner party and toss the keys to the valet. For a moment you feel like you've made it. The lease paperwork said affordable monthly payments. Your coworkers are impressed, your Instagram flawless. But your net worth, it's quietly being drained. Leasing a luxury car might feel like you're making a savvy move after all. You're not buying the car, you're just using it. Nora Saliasil always driving something new, lower payments than financing. But here's the trap. You're renting a depreciating liability to impress people who probably don't care. Let's start with the basics. A lease is a financial contract that gives you the right to drive a car. You don't. Tion for a monthly usually with mileage limits, strict warranty policies, and a nice pile of hidden fees. You don't build equity, you don't create assets. You just pay and give it back. People often say, it's cheaper than buying, but cheaper isn't the same as smart. Most luxury leases cost between $700 and $1,500 per month, not including insurance, maintenance, and fees. That's $18,000 to $36,000. Over 3 years for the illusion of ownership. Let's meet Jared, a 32-year-old marketing executive from Miami. He leased a brand new Audi S7 for $1,100 per month. When asked why, he said, "It sends the right message in my industry. Clients need to know I'm successful." But after 24 months, the car had minor cosmetic scratches and exceeded the mileage cap. His end of lease bill, $3,400 in penalties total spent. No car, no asset, no equity, just receipts. Meanwhile, his friend Claire bought a used Lexus ES for $24,000. She paid it off in 3 years. 7 years later, it's still running strong. Insurance is lower, and the car is still worth over $8,000. She built value. Jared built an image. So what would Buffett say? He's been driving used Cadillacs for years. He's one of the richest men in the world. But he doesn't lease Lamborghinis. Why? Because Buffett understands that real wealth whispers. It doesn't scream through leather seats and heated steering wheels. He once said, if you buy things you don't need, soon you'll have to sell things you do. Leasing a luxury car is the modern version of that. You're swapping future financial security for temporary aesthetic approval. So what do the wealthy really drive? Dependable, used, value-retaining vehicles. Think Toyota, Honda, Lexus. They care more about net worth than curb appeal. Their cars get them from point A to point B, their investments take care of the rest. Let's run the numbers. Suppose you lease a luxury car for $1,000 per month over 5 years. $60,000. Take that same money and invest it into an S&P 500 index fund, returning 8% annually. In 10 years, nearly $110,000. That's not just a car, it's a house down payment, a startup fund, or early retirement fuel. Yet, thousands of people lease luxury vehicles to impress people they don't even like. They stretch their budgets, ignore their retirement, and mask the stress with a perfectly filtered selfie next to a car that's never truly theirs. The only one profiting, the dealership. But if you think leasing a car is throwing money away, just wait until you meet the investor who bought property in a Cantimus real estate development that never got built. Buying into trendy real estate with no cash flow. It sounds like the smartest move you could make. Real estate never loses value. Passive income forever. Build equity while someone else pays your mortgage. It's the dream. You buy a sleek condo in a booming city, rent it out on Airbnb and let the cash roll in. But here's what most people forget. A property that doesn't generate cash flow isn't. It's a liability with better wallpaper. The real estate trap has evolved. It used to be about buying homes to live in. Now, it's influencer-led pitches about vacation rentals, off-plan developments, pre-construction condos, and hot markets like Austin, Nashville, or too. And while the pictures look great, the financials, often brutal. Let's start with the numbers. A healthy real estate investment should generate positive cash flow that's income left after mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance, and fees. But many trendy properties in oversaturated markets don't even come close. Once you factor in Airbnb regulations, seasonal fluctuations, cleaning services, and property management, you're often in the red every single month. The problem: buyers focus on appreciation, not income. They assume the value will rise and they'll sell for a profit later. But real estate isn't a lottery ticket. It's a business. And if the monthly math doesn't work from day one, you're not investing. You're speculating. Let's talk about Monica, a 36-year-old HR manager from Atlanta. She saw a YouTube ad for a pre-construction condo in Miami promising 10% annual returns once it opened. The renderings were stunning. Rooftop pool, digital concierge, smart elevators, the works. She put down $60,000 as a deposit, expecting to finance the rest at closing. That was 3 years ago. The building, still under construction. Her deposit is locked up, the developers have gone silent, and the promised completion date keeps getting pushed back. Meanwhile, rising interest rates mean her financing, if it ever happens, will be twice as expensive as originally planned. She didn't buy real estate. She bought a dream wrapped in delays. What would Warren Buffett say? Buffett has never been a fan of speculative property deals. He prefers productive assets. He once said, "The best investment is the one that actually earns you money every year." And unlike stocks, real estate isn't liquid. You can't sell a bathroom when you're short on cash. Buffett likes real estate, but the boring kind. Strip malls in middle America with long-term tenants, apartment buildings with stable occupancy, warehouses rented by logistics companies, properties that produce cash every month, not just Instagram likes. So what do the wealthy do? They look at cash on cash return, not brochure photos. They evaluate net operating income. They stress test for vacancies and rate hikes. And most importantly, they don't fall in love with granite countertops, they fall in love with profit margins. Let's look at the financials. Suppose you buy a trendy Airbnb-style condo for $500,000 with 20% down. That's $100,000 up front, plus another $3,000 per month in mortgage, HOA, and upkeep. If you rent it out for $3,000, you break even. Now factor in 25% vacancy, cleaning fees, platform costs, and repairs. You're losing money every quarter. Now imagine if you invested that $100,000 down payment into a conservative dividend-paying stock portfolio yielding 4% annually. That's $4,000 a year in actual income without toilets or tenants. But only if it pays you, not the other way around. But if you think losing money on a condo is bad, wait until you hear about people dropping 5 figures on guaranteed passive income courses, where the only person getting rich is the person selling the course, falling for passive income courses with guaranteed results. It starts with a promise. Make money while you sleep. Build passive income in 30 days. I escaped the 9-to-5 forever. The screenshots show 5-figure months. The testimonials are glowing. And the course, just $1,997 today only. It feels like a shortcut to freedom. But here's the truth. If someone's selling you passive income, it's probably funding that's not yours. The modern hustle economy has created a new predator, the passive income guru. These aren't educators. They're marketers. They know exactly what pain to press on. Burnout, job dissatisfaction, student debt, the dream of time, freedom, and they offer the perfect solution just behind a pain. But here's the trick. They're not selling a business model. They're selling a belief system, one where hard work is optional and money flows automatically if you just follow the blueprint. In reality, most of those blueprints are half-baked, outdated, or completely unsustainable. Let's get into the data. A 2023 investigation by Business Insider found that fewer than 12% of buyers of online income courses ever recouped their costs, let alone made a profit. And yet, these programs continue to thrive, raking in hundreds of millions a year, because hope sells better than honesty. Now meet Travis, a 41-year-old teacher from Seattle. After years of feeling financially stuck, he enrolled in a $2,500 Amazon FBA Mastery course promoted by a flashy influencer driving a Ferrari. The course promised full automation and freedom in 90 days. Travis followed every module. He launched a product. He spent another $6,000 on inventory ads and software tools. 6 months later, his Amazon account was suspended for a terms of service violation he wasn't even aware of. His inventory sat in a warehouse collecting dust. And the course creator, unreachable, total loss, nearly $9,000. Worse, Travis had put it all on a credit card. And yet, these course creators keep thriving because they build their income off volume, not results. Their students become their testimonials. And when it doesn't work, they blame you. You didn't implement it, right? Your mindset wasn't strong enough. You skipped Module 8. What would Warren Buffett say? He's been crystal clear. There's no such thing as passive wealth. Even when it's passive, it takes time, knowledge, and discipline to make it real. Buffett doesn't fall for good. He builds slowly, surely, and only on foundations he understands. And guess what? He's never sold a course. What do the truly wealthy do instead? They build real systems, not shortcuts. They own assets that produce value, dividend-paying stocks, rental properties with positive cash flow, businesses with recurring revenue, and they spend years mastering their field before trying to profit from it. They don't buy $3,000 dropshipping crash courses from someone whose only income is selling dropshipping crash courses. Now let's talk math. Say you buy a $2,000 passive income course every year for 5 years. That's $10,000 spent chasing automation. Invest that same $10,000 in a low-cost ETF at an 8% average annual return. You'll have over $14,700 in 5 years without the false promises, hidden upsells, or YouTube ads at 2 a year. Here's the simple rule. If someone is making their money by teaching you how to make money, ask to see their taxes. If they won't, walk away. Not every course is a scam. But if the promise sounds effortless, the risk is high and the reward probably isn't for you, it's for them. But if you think that's risky, wait until we dive into the last trap, a seemingly harmless habit that's exploded in the digital age, one that feels empowering, but slowly drains your finances, trust, and long-term stability. Taking financial advice from influencers instead of investors. It's relatable, it's entertaining, and it feels fresh. A guy in a hoodie with a ring light tells you how he turned $500 into a six-figure portfolio. A woman with perfect lighting walks you through her money mindset routine that attracted abundance. Their videos rack up millions of views, so you listen. You find you trust. But here's the problem. Influencers aren't investors, and taking financial advice from them, it's like asking a magician how to fly. You'll get showmanship, not substance. We live in a time when anyone with a camera can call themselves a financial expert, and social media rewards confidence, not accuracy. The louder someone speaks, the more convincing they sound, even if what they're saying is financially reckless. Let's break this down. True investors talk in probabilities. They acknowledge risk. They explain the math behind a decision. Influencers talk in absolutes. This coin is going to 10x. You need this credit card. This stock is a no-brainer. Why? Because nuance doesn't go viral. Hype does. Take Ethan, a 28-year-old software developer from Toronto. He followed a charismatic finance creator on TikTok who posted daily videos about crypto trading. Ethan admired his flashy lifestyle, Rolex, penthouse, Lambo, and decided to join his $49 month Insider Discord. Within weeks, Ethan had shifted $15,000 into altcoins and meme stocks based on signals from the group. 3 months later, that $15,000 was worth less than $4,000. The influencer still posting, still flexing. Turns out, most of his income wasn't from investing, it came from affiliate links, brand deals, and subscription fees. Ethan learned too late. He wasn't following an investor, he was following a performer. So what would Warren Buffett say? He once said, "You should invest in businesses so good that an idiot could run them, because sooner or later, one will." That's not flashy, it's not viral, but it's wisdom that builds empires. Buffett doesn't follow trends. He studies fundamentals. He reads thousands of pages, he waits, and when he moves, he invests in things he understands, with real earnings, real management, and real value. No signals, no hype, no hack. So what do the wealthy actually do? They get their information from credible sources, investors with long-term track records, not just large followings. They read shareholder letters, earnings reports, and research from vetted analysts. They learn from mentors, not marketers. They know that wealth is quiet, and it's rarely taught in 60-second videos with background music. Let's look at the money. Suppose you spend $50 a month following a finance influencer's membership or private group. That's $600 a year. Over a decade, that's $2,500 gone, on top of the membership cost. Now imagine you'd instead spend that same time reading The Intelligent Investor, watching free interviews with Charlie Munger, or listening to credible investment podcasts from certified professionals. Cost zero to low. Value, compounding for a lifetime. Here's the uncomfortable truth. In finance, style sells but substance builds. If someone is shouting strategies into a ring light and promising fast wins, they're likely playing a different game than you are. And if their portfolio only works on paper, in screenshots, or during bull markets, it's not advice, it's advertising. The next time you hear "just do this one thing to get rich," ask yourself, do they make more money teaching it or doing it? And that's the real test of financial advice. Your wallet will thank you for watching this one next.